Vibhavarisha Lokaprovisha Nidratariyuta Jiva Vibhavarisha Lokaprovisha Nidratariyuta Jiva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva 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 Narasimha Vamana Madhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama Narasimha Vamana Madhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama Putana Gatana Kaita Bashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Putana Gatana Kaita Bashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhora Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhora Ravana Thakura Makhana Tashara Gopi Jana Vastrahare Ravana Thakura Makhana Tashara Gopi Jana Vastrahare Brajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapalo Chitta Hare Vamsida Hare Rajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapala Chitta Hare Vamsida Hare Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Brajajana Bhaya Hare Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Brajajana Bhaya Hare Nabhinani Radha Rupa Manohara Mohana Bhamsi Bihari Nabhinani Radha Rupa Manohara Mohana Bhamsi Bihari Yashodanandana Kansani Sudana Nikunjara Sabilasi Yashodanandana Kansani Sudana Nikunjara Sabilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivahase Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivahase Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivahasi Ananda Vardhana Premani Chaitanya Kulasharayo Jakakana Ananda Vardhana Premani Chaitanya Kulasharayo Jakakama Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Hili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Yamuna Jivana Hili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namashudaras Ko Krishna Yas Rakho Vachanamana Mohora Namashudaras Go Krishna Yas Rakho Vachanamana Mohora Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Nasta Praeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, Sloka number 10. Yadopahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishta Kila Purvajena Utaha Tan Mantradrisham Variyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yadopahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishta Kila Purvajena Atahatan mantra drisham variyan yan mantrino vaidurikam vadanti yadopahuto bhavanam pravishto Mantraya Prishta Kila Purvajena Atahatan mantra trisham variyan yan mantrino vaidurikam vadanti
Yajo bahuto bhavanam pravishto mantraya prishta kila purvajena Mahatan mantra visham variyan Janmantrino vaidurikam vadanti
Yato pahuto bhavanam pravishto mantraya prastha kila purvajena Atahadan mantra trisam variyan Janmantrino vaidurikam vadanti
Yato bahato bhavanam pariyishto Mantraya prastha kila purvajena Atahatan mantra visham variyan Mantro vidurikam vadanti Yato pahuto bhavanam pravishto Mantraya prishtaha kila purvajena Atahatan mantra vrisham variyan Janmantrino vaidurikam vadanti
Manages.
Yado pahuto bhavanam pravishto mantraya prishta kila purvajena tatatan mantra drisam variyan yan mantrino vaidurikam vadanti
Yada. When. Just a minute, I'm sorry. Upahita was called by Bhavanam, the palace. Pravishta, entered. Mantraya, for consultation. Prishta, asked by. Kila, of course. Purvajena, by the elder brother. Ata, thus. Aha, said. Tat, that. Mantra, advice. Drisham, just suitable.
just suitable.
Variyan, excellent. Yat, that which. Mantrina, the ministers of state or expert politicians. Vaidurikam, instructions by Vidura. Vadanti, do they say. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Vidura was invited by his elder brother Dhritarashtra for consultation, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is well known, and instructions by Vidura are approved by expert ministers of state. Purport. Political suggestions by Vidura are known as expert, just as in modern times, Pandita Chanakya is considered the authority in good counsel in both political and moral instructions. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Svavanantikam Bandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Satrajatam Sahagana Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanyavam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Bhaktan Shri Vishnu He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusati Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachate Satari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're hearing about the situation in the palace in Hastinapur. Vidura had been invited to give some advice to Dhritarashtra in their home, in their palace. And Vidura is brother of Dhritarashtra. You could say he's the younger brother. Dhritarashtra was the eldest of the three brothers. Pandu the second, and then Vidur. All conceived by the semen of Vyasadeva. Now, Vidur is not a Brahmana. Usually in the Vedic culture, the kings would have an assembly of Brahmanas to advise them. But it was understood that Vidura was very saintly. Of course, Vidura is Yamaraj. Yamaraj has come. He was cursed, but it was a blessing for him that he could come and have some relief from his tedious occupation. You know, to be Yamaraj, not a very pleasant task. You have to punish a lot of sinful people. So he was cursed by Manduka Muni, and it was a blessing for him. But at the same time, it was a struggle, because he was, first of all, the son of a Sudra woman. So being brought up in the palace, he was not equal to his brothers. Pandu and Dhritarashtra, they were conceived in the womb of royal ladies. But Vidura was conceived in the womb of a Sudra woman. So he did not have the same status. But at the same time, he was respected because of his purity and because of his honesty and his morality. He was given the respect of all the people in the palace. Certainly in a palace there would be a lot of intrigues and a lot of corruption and sense gratification, different people all plying to take advantage of their position for their sense gratification. But Vidura was a pure-hearted person. He did not have any very powerful material desires, and therefore he was respected by everyone in the palace. And when there were issues to be solved, then his advice would be consulted. Of course, although his advice was heard, it was not always taken. And that is maybe more frustrating than anything, to be in that condition where you're asked for advice. And although you give good advice, and everyone knows it's a proper advice, a proper thing to do, but still people don't follow. So this is a situation which is being described here. Traditionally in the Vedic culture, there would be people who were brahmanas who would give advice. Vidura, as I said, was not a brahmana, but he was not brahmana by birth, but by his activities, by his character and qualities. He was as good as a brahmana. Lord Krishna established the social system as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Vida Bhajantimam Chatur Vida Bhajantimam Chatur, how's it go? Chatur Vidamash Guna Karma Vibhagasha, right? By guna and karma. Krishna said, I have created this system of varna and ashrams according to guna and karma, according to qualities and work, not janma, but by guna and karma. So Vidura was a brahmana in the sense that by guna and karma he was like that. And that's why he was respected. So the tradition was that the kings would always respect the brahmanas, and they would be happy to hear from them and take their advice. However, Dhritarashtra, although he had some respect for Vidura, he was more influenced by his son, unfortunately. And that was the problem for Dhritarashtra. Too much attachment to his own son. However, Vidura was doing his duty. He was asked to speak, and he spoke the truth as it was. He spoke according to the facts. So people do not always like to hear the truth. Sometimes the truth is very painful for us. But Srila Prabhupada said, it is the duty of the devotee to speak. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes that we should try to speak words which are pleasing. If we want to cultivate the mode of goodness, that is, we should speak words which are pleasing. However, Srila Prabhupada said when it comes to preaching, then we're not required to follow that etiquette. There's a saying in Sanskrit, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Satyam bruyat, that when we speak, we should speak in such a way that it is pleasing and at the same time truthful. So Srila Prabhupada quoted this when he was dealing with Srimati Morariji, the lady who had given him the passage on the ship to go to America. Because what happened was the devotees who were printing Back to Godhead had printed an excerpt from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And they printed the excerpt from the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing how Lord Chaitanya corrected Vallabha Acharya. Now Vallabha Acharya is known as Mahaprabhu, and he is the head of the founder of the Pushti Marg. And Pushti Marg is very prominent in Bombay and Gujarat. There are many followers of Pushti Marg. They worship Krishna, but it's a different sampradaya. They're taking care, they're in charge of the worship of Srinathji. You can go to Nathdwara, which is on the edge of Rajasthan and Gujarat, and the deity is there of Srinathji. So this deity of Srinathji, very popular. Many people go there and worship, especially the Gujarati people, people from Bombay. Actually, Prabhupada said, he said, that deity belongs to us. He said it belongs to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It was found by Madhavendra Puri. The deity of Srinathji was found by Madhavendra Puri on Govardhan Hill. And it was worshipped there for some time. But at some point, the worship was given to the sons of Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya was a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vallabhacharya was a devotee and a Sanskrit scholar. And he wrote also commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was a very saintly person. But when he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very attracted and very impressed with the exalted nature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how the two met. One place they met was at Prayagraj, and you know where the Ganges meets the Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya was there, and he met with Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya had a house just near Prayag, and he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy, because when he saw the water of the Yamuna, he was reminded of Lord Krishna. And he thought the Yamuna is the same color as Lord Krishna. And at some point even Lord Chaitanya dived into the Yamuna. So Vallabhacharya was greatly impressed to see the exalted level of consciousness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the two were friends. They were friends. Later on, Balabhacharya wrote his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and he brought it to Jagannath Puri, and he was saying that my commentary is better than the Swami, better than Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami was the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vallabha Acharya had written his commentary, and he came there and he said, my commentary is better than the Swami's commentary. So Lord Chaitanya pointed out to him, he said that is like a prostitute, because the word Swami can also mean husband, you see. So you think you're better than your husband, that is not good, that is not proper thing to say. You shouldn't try to surpass your husband, Swami. And in this way Lord Chaitanya was correcting the statement of Vallabha Acharya. And Prabhupada points out that a disciple should never try to surpass the previous Acharya. So Vallabha Acharya was making some mistake there in etiquette, that he was surpassing the previous Acharya, the original Acharya, in commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam. So this whole section is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it was published in Back to Godhead. So we have many Pushti Marg people who are life members. And in India, they would often send the Back to Godhead magazine to the life members. So some life members got the Back to Godhead, and some of them read it, and they did not like it, because they were followers of Vallabha Acharya. Vallabha Acharya was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to them. They call him Mahaprabhu. And they did not like it, and what happened was they went to Srimati Morariji, the lady who sent Prabhupada to America, and they said, look, you sent this man to America. Look what he's teaching. And so Srimati Morariji was quite shocked, because Prabhupada had personally cultivated the relationship with this lady. She was a very staunch devotee of Lord Krishna, and she's also Pushti Marg, a follower of Vallabha Acharya. And Prabhupada was writing Srimad Bhagavatam at the time, and he needed funds to print the first canto. So he knew her name, and he knew about her, so he went to see her, and he was able to impress her. She was impressed with Prabhupada, and she donated for the printing of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then later on, then Prabhupada got her to send him to America on one of her ships. So when she was approached by these other people, these life members of ISKCON, and they were saying, look what this man is teaching. So she wrote to Prabhupada about this and inquired that why is it like this? You're publishing like this in the Back to Godhead magazine? So Srila Prabhupada wrote back to her, and he quoted this saying, Satyam bruyat priyam bruyat. And Prabhupada apologized. He said, I have to apologize on behalf of my disciples. They have not learned the etiquette that when they speak the truth, they should make it pleasing. He said they had, and Prabhupada quoted that Sanskrit, Satyam bruyat priyam bruyat. And then Prabhupada went on and explained to her, he said actually when Lord Chaitanya said this to Vallabha Acharya, it was said in a joking way. It was not a criticism. It was said, and he explained to her that Lord Chaitanya and Vallabha Acharya were actually friends. They had a friendly relationship. And in this way, Prabhupada somewhat pacified Srimati Morariji. So this is one example of politics, that even in spiritual life there can often be politics and dealings between devotees. There can be politics. We have to be very careful, very conscious, not to allow Kali to enter into our midst and pollute our consciousness. If we start to argue with each other, then that is the influence of the age of Kali. We're allowing Kali to enter into our association. We want to... Jai Maharaj, welcome. Huh? Yeah. Bring a... Have we got a chair for Maharaj? Bring a chair for Maharaj. So I just want to bring out the point that we want to be conscious, not to become involved in politics, in arguing and quarreling, because it easily happens in the Kali Yuga, and especially in your home also. You know, you want to keep the peace at home. You want to live peacefully. And that way you will all be happier. Nowadays, you know, in Prabhupada's time, we were ashram-based. My godbrother Bhaktivikas Swami has been speaking about how ISKCON has changed over the years. Yes, certainly, it's changed. And you have to expect change. We have to expect things will change. So, in Prabhupada's time, we were ashram-based. Jananda Maharaj and I were young men in our 20s. And we were living in the ashram. The devotees were all living in the ashram. And we supported the ashram by Sankirtan and book distribution. Today, things are a bit different. We don't have many people living in the ashram. It would be nice to have more people live in the ashram. But unfortunately, people grow up, people get a bit older, they get married, you have to have your own home, and so our movement has developed like that. The devotees are more based in the home rather than in the ashram. So we have devotees, more devotees, and I hope they're happier devotees as well. But we have more devotees and they're living at home. They're not living in the ashram. But still, Krishna consciousness is going on. You go to the home of devotees and they're worshipping Krishna. They have a nice altar. Jayapataka Swami sometimes will do a Zoom and he'll visit his home, the home of all of his disciples. And he'll say to them, "Show me your altar." And each devotee will show their altar and how they've decorated their altar. And Jayapataka Swami will give his appreciation or some comment. And so nowadays it's like that. You know, we show people, oh, here's our altar, we have our temple here. But everyone else, you have your home and you have your altar at home and you're worshipping Krishna there. So things have changed, but still Krishna is there. Krishna is in the center. And that is very important for us, that we want to keep Krishna always in the center of all of our activities. So long as Krishna is in the center, then our movement is healthy and the devotees are progressing in their spiritual life. But if money becomes in the center, our economic problems, our economic issues, or our children's education, if these things are put in the center more than Krishna, then it's not very good for us. Of course, these things are also important. You have to have money, your children have to have education. Other things are also required, but we cannot forget Krishna. We must always keep Krishna there. The spiritual aspect of life has to be there in our own life. If our spiritual practice is forgotten just for the material purposes, then we will run into problems. As soon as we forget Krishna, immediately the Maya is there, right? Krishna, Surya, Tama, Maya, Haya, Andhika. So wherever there is Krishna, there is light. And wherever there is no Krishna, then the darkness is there. So we want to encourage all of you to keep your Krishna consciousness, keep your homes Krishna conscious, and stay strong in your spiritual practice. And that way you'll overcome all the difficulties. You come and sit there. Jannanda Maharaj, tell him. Thank you, Maharaj.
Why are you late?
I remember more than 20 years ago, Jannanda Maharaj was telling me there's this nice brahmachari in Malaysia. He said, whenever he gives lectures, he'll break into songs. Right? So, I was hearing about you even before I ever came to Malaysia.
Yesterday I spoke to Jannanda Maharaj. The first meeting with Jannanda Maharaj, he took me for Sankirtan in KL, and he told me to come in time, come back in time. So I was a little bit late. Maharaj said, you're an idiot. Hasn't changed since then.
Would you like to say something on the verse, Maharaj?
Say something. Maharaj, I think you have a schedule here. I don't know whether you...
No, we're running 1 hour late. It's okay.
Spontaneous. We're fortunate and privileged to be here today. We found out maybe a few days ago that today Maharaj was here and we were honoring his Vyasa Puja. We'll talk, I guess, time later on to talk more on that, I suppose. And on today's verse, Krishna has so nicely shared very practical, personal aspect of the verse which we read today. It's about Dhritarashtra calling Vidura for consultation. And Dhritarashtra always being rejected. Even Krishna's counsel. So what can I say other than what Maharaj has already reiterated or expressed to us? Thinking in terms of the point of politics, which is an underlying factor of this whole topic of the intrigue which takes place even amongst family members. And we have, even amongst us, the intrigue that takes place, even amongst some family members here in Malaysia, so everywhere. As Maharaj said, it's the influence of Kali Yuga. Politics is held as a dirty word in most cases, to use it in a rather derogatory way, although in terms of its actual essential definition, politics is the, you could say, the mechanism to enact a policy. And Prabhupada has given us that policy to follow materially. We have so many different, let's say, responsibilities, different occupations, we're conditioned differently, we see things differently. The real counsel, the real politics is that which brings us to see things with Krishna in the center, emphasizing it for the devotees, especially those who are living at home. As we already heard, look at how this movement has changed in its dynamics, not in its purpose, not in its essential objective, but in its, say, organization or its structure in terms of the devotees, almost exclusively in most countries. Not in India so much. In India we have, as you may know, thousands of brahmacharis. In the ashrams, some of the ashrams have 200 to 300 brahmacharis. We used to have here in Malaysia, at the peak, around 20 to 30 brahmacharis in the late 80s and early 90s, and that's when Maharaj came in. During that period of time, even Bhakti Swami Maharaj, who he was preaching a lot in Bangladesh, then in India, that he asked if he could send brahmacharis here to Malaysia for training. Quite something. Bhakti Maharaj was world renowned for his staunch spiritual practices and his training. Brahmacharya handbook and Brahmacharya Krishna Consciousness Handbook. This is before he published that book, and some of that was based upon his experience. He was here in Malaysia a lot in the 80s, if you remember. I think Baho, he was quite active here, but on and off over a period of years. He was a little, I'll just tell you something funny, and it's nothing to do with the verse, but it's something to do with what Kundarman said about our first meeting. I came here at the very beginning of 1984 to Malaysia. And Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was on his way out. He was basically told, in England they say, on your bike, Jimmy. He was too heavy. We were talking about Priyam Brewer, Sachin Priyam Brewer earlier on. He was too heavy. And you remember? I mean, relatively speaking, he was normal, but for the situation here, he was too heavy. You have to have gone through a lot of turmoil, maybe before, I don't know any of you know much about that era, but in 1983 there was a complete, you could say, shake-up of the politics, administration here. We have a GBC body which we're supposed to consult to try to give good guidance and so on. So it was clearly obvious that the GBC who was managing here was not in line with many of the policies Prabhupada set in motion. So he was removed. It created quite a turmoil. You may have been not around it. In that area, Bhakti Vijayendra Maharaj was here then, and was a rock in a sense. Rabbi Maharaj. I was speaking this morning to Radha Raja's wife, Sudevi, Sudevi. I was speaking to her this morning. She was, not to us don't know, they were really heroes during that period of time. The devotees were staying in their house, and Ravi Lochan and Tattvavid and their families, they were like they kept, and of course, beloved Vrindavan Chandra and his wife, they were like, kept the movement going here in Malaysia. Islam. There were hundreds of devotees who were following the previous GBC guru, and it was quite a battlefield. It wasn't an easy situation, to say the least. So Prabhu Vishnu Prabhu, who had become a little involved here in Malaysia, came along, and he became the regional secretary. In those days we called it regional secretary under Jayapataka Maharaj's inspiration. Banamraj was here when I first came, and it was really, there were very few. This was a handful of us really staying in the temple. In fact, Prakash Maharaj he was at the end to go. So he invited me in because I was known as a bit more gentle. I was called the gentle fanatic. Contrary to what my experience I had. If it didn't match with Prakash Maharaj, you probably would have been running for your life. I don't know, he was quite strong. But I was also asked to get on your bike journey after about 3 months. I used the word karmi in a class, and that was one word too many. You couldn't even say karmi in the congregation. It was considered to be a derogatory term. Amazing, but anyway, Krishna has
we'll take no rush. We got time.
Yes,
we got up until 2 o'clock.
Politician.
And the other devotees are not taking breakfast, are they? Did you cook breakfast for them? For everyone.
Politics means to help everybody to find their place in society.
Well, we're just
controlling essentially allowing people to be what we've been given by God. In the Varnashram system, it's not like boxing people into positions and forcing them to act according to one's will. It's a scientific arrangement to accommodate the individuality of living entities, and it's guided Varnashram. So the objective goal of the structure is, of course, to surrender to Krishna, to become Krishna conscious. So it's a lot easier if a person is situated according to their Varna and ashram. And that is the real business of a Kshatriya, to do that, to facilitate, not to control them, not to exploit them, but to actually assist them in their sadharma, both material and spiritual, and occupational responsibilities. This movement started really from, as you all know, from what can we say, Varna Shankar. Prabhupada started in New York, and what can you say, everyone who came to Prabhupada, seriously speaking, was hardly following Varna Shram. They were following the path of sense gratification. Extremely. And Prabhupada, somehow or another, with his purity, with his devotion, his Krishna consciousness, was able to inspire and transform the lives of millions of people. Now we see here in this country, when, as I said, about half a dozen devotees were there in the temple when I came. Banu Maharaj left shortly after, but Vijayendra Maharaj was there, then Darwin Chandra was still working. He joined full-time shortly after, more or less. He was living at home and coming. There was not more than half a dozen of us living in the temple, and that was it. Just a few devotees in BN, and one or two ISKCON devotees scattered around. Not more than 12 to 20 serious ISKCON devotees. And now we see in Malaysia, I don't know how many, thousands of devotees. And what is the next stage? That will be interesting. It's after that phase, we had a swing. People Sindhu came in, and he was part of the latter part of that swing. Singeshwar, Sri Varanga, Siddhi Sadhana, Nasiprayana, Deva Deva, Lord Swami, and so many others. Sivananda were in the first wave, Rasaraj, and so many ladies, and from the congregation also were part of that swing, Kamalakar, and others were part of that era. And now we seem to be in an era now moving forward in a different way. What do you think the next stage is? As you're preaching here, I'm only a visitor here. I can't speak.
I think most of the areas in Malaysia, they're ready for sannyas.
Ready for sannyas?
And Vanapurastha, many of them are
ready for sannyas.
Many,
your wife is ready. Where is she? There she is, hiding over there behind her hand. Are you ready? Carry on.
Now we have got many Vanapurastha in Malaysia. Many of them do not know which directions to move in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Hari Samrat and Dr. I'm going to give my honest opinion today, because today is Narasimha Maharaj appearance day. I felt that, everything has to be according to the path of Dharma. So we have got today plenty of wonderful stars in Malaysia. Practically, they do not know what the next thing they should do in their life.
Panchaswarva, but not project. They're supposed to give up the family life, give up the house and go to the forest after 50 years of age.
So, like those days when we joined, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was the backbone of the organization in Malaysia. Practically, I joined because of the pressure and pushes by Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. Every time I come to the temple, he would call me to his room. He said, "Oh, no, what's your name and what you are doing?" The moment I said about my job, he would say, "It's Maya." And the moment he said, "Come and join the organization," I said, "I got to do something for my parents." He said, "Oh, Maya." The two things Maharaj has said that always in my mind is that every moment when he speaks something, he quotes Prabhupada. He says Prabhupada, 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 and the next thing he will say Maya, Maya, Maya.
Everything that wasn't Prabhupada was Maya.
No, wasn't Prabhupada, wasn't Maya.
No, everything that was not Prabhupada.
Yeah, that's right. So then Maharaj really want us to join full time and contribute to Prabhupada movement just by his purity and his path of principle of dharma he followed very strictly. We are inspired to join the organization. And today all these kind of words what Maharaj have told us may become abuse in the organization. And a lot of Grihastha, I see the Grihastha themselves, many have to do a great job with their own children, because many of our Grihastha children in Malaysia not that participating in an organization. Many are not coming to the temple, many are not chanting. We have got a very handful of devotee children really contributing to the progress of the organization. Sometimes I felt it could be like, we could make like, they got rules in Thailand and Myanmar where every of, their citizens should join the monastery for at least for 2 years after their education. At least I thought, if our children, if they can get some sort of the kind of, opportunity to come and stay in the temple at least for 6 months, and they see the austerity the others are contributing, and that will inspire them, because when they go and stay in the monastery, even today we go to Thailand or Myanmar, very hardly any people are converting to Christianity or Islam, because they've got that strong foundation of their philosophy and their practices. So I felt like the Vanaprastha, I mean lots of them, they found, today they're free, they do not know what to do. Some of them try to go and get another job, some drive Grab, some go and get a security job. It's not their lack of money, but they do not know what to do in their life. And many Vanaprastha, they're very busy taking care of their grandchildren. And they and philosophically they go and preach to the people how to become detached. So it makes very difficult in our organization, for us to preach anything very purely, because our own elders are not showing the kind of commitment and austerity in the organization. So from a very difficult stage in our preaching in Malaysia from 1980s, today we have come to the very comfortable zone. So we are many trying to preach like Acharya, but when it comes to Acharya, to practice what we speak, very difficult to see, because the organization now in Malaysia, is made up 99% are made up of a Grihastha. In our time, it was mainly brahmachari. So I think any changes to come in Malaysia has to begin with the Grihastha community. And today, even the Grihastha, they feel that brahmachari ashram is a joke. They don't encourage their children to go and stay in the temple and do anything. Because they found that many brahmacharis who have joined, they got married and then they took up Grihastha ashram. But the one thing they don't realize that many who have joined the organization as a brahmachari, later they become a Grihastha, and many have got a very good and strong foundation in their Krishna consciousness. So I feel that to do anything in our organization, we need a great commitment and contribution from our Grihasthas and Vanaprasthas, especially in Malaysia, because lots of devotees are retiring, they're becoming a Vanaprastha, and they contribute so much. The other day I was talking to one of the Vanaprastha, and he was giving some idea. I said, idea anybody can give. But the important thing is that 34 years they have been working with at the social order. They've been holding some great position. They're very highly educated, and they worked in that environment for 34 years. That means they got so much of experience. Maybe the Vanaprasthas are very angry. No, I feel they have got a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom in their life. When they were holding that position and they were working for themselves, they were contributing for the people of outside. But today when they retired, they got all this experience and wisdom. Yes, they are holding it inside, but it's not contributed for the upliftment and progress of the organization. I feel all of them should come forward and try to help the organization. And things are not going very well with the political situation and economic situation in this country. So we have to educate our own people how to take care. Even today, it's not about trying to go and save the people from outside. It's already about saving our own family and children in Krishna consciousness. Become a bigger challenger. So with this thing, I'm also very happy that Maharaj, all of you coming and contributing your services, your contribution for Malaysian Yatra. definitely it will make a lot of changes. Because generally, Prabhupada says he brought the white elephant to India. So we need the more white elephant from from Britain. Yeah, Britain.
Scotland.
Huh?
Scotland.
We need Scotland, Scottish people.
Yeah. And we also need a lot of sannyas in Malaysia. And I felt a lot of Vanaprastha also. Some of them are very qualified to take sannyas. And among the brahmacharis like Sri Chaitanya and Kripa Sindhu, Mahavara, there are very good brahmacharis, can contribute so much for the organization. I think we should encourage them. And also there should be a lot of gurus in Malaysia. And especially there has to be a lot of local gurus, because they can go around like last time when Bhakti Vrijendra Maharaj going around. So people felt, he's one of their family members, he was very fatherly and he advises them. And then from him we have learned a lot of detachment and austerity. I felt, for the organization to grow more bigger and spread, wide in Malaysia, we have to have a lot of sannyas, we have to have a lot of gurus, and we have to have a lot of wonderful Giriasas. Definitely the organization will flourish in Malaysia. It's a very challenging time. Like Maharaj says, a Kali Yuga. Things are going to be, worse in time to come. Before those things come, we should be prepared and we should be ready to counteract whatever negative influences are coming into our life. So with this thing, I would like to thank Maharaj for coming here, and Janana Maharaj comes here. And today somebody told me today, he said, yesterday asked me, he's also from Australia, he said, is Janana Maharaj around here? I said, yes, he's a great joker.
You're really good.
No, it is.
What you say.
Yeah, Maharaj, now what to do, there's a reality happening in the world. You're very nice.
I'll forgive you.
This is a year of forgiveness, so I'll forgive you. It's definitely just a quick follow on. Thank you very much. Interesting points. I would say two, say more maybe. 2 points there which should just comment on. One is Vanaprastha. It's something which is not so clearly defined in our movement. Maybe the other ashrams are a little bit more easy to ascertain their position. But the Vanaprastha ashram in many ways is the most essential ashram in our society in many ways. It didn't exist before, it's only a recent last decade or two it's become a reality. And traditionally, it is the Vanaprasthas who are the leaders in society spiritually. Initiation is given by Vanaprasthas, Gurukuls are run by Vanaprasthas. Tradition. It's a big subject. Now, if you want to find out a little bit more, we actually, I don't know if you ever saw it, I compiled a manual on Vanaprastha 23 years ago. And that is still available. Now, on consultation with Jaya Maharaj, he's put the Vanaprastha ashram manual into printed form. So right now it's just manuscript form. So that may be coming to print shortly. That will give you a little bit of an inspiration, I think, and a little direction. Of course, it's time, place, and circumstance. Every individual is different, but the principles are the same: how to move forward, how to actually not just retirement. It's not retirement in a sense. It's actually in expanding our devotional responsibility in a way which is effective, guiding the younger devotees. And the other point is what Maharaj said about giving initiation and having local gurus. Whether this is the next phase in our movement, many of us think it is. I'm also on that page. So let us see. That will be very interesting, another, let's say, revolutionary stage in our movement. And I think Bhakti Mukunda Maharaj would be one of them on that list.
Nobody wants to take initiation from me.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But it's a fact. not only because of logistics, that the roads, like ourselves, are getting a little ancient in age, and it's not going to be long before you will not see any direct disciples who should have come on that present on this planet. We want everyone to be a fixture disciple as a policy. But as far as the continuation of the necessary process of diction is a subject which, see, on Krishna's plan, the policy on that will be, you have to be open. Krishna can empower those who, what you may think is impossible. You know, this movement is really an impossible, this is impossible, what has happened. The transformation that has taken place in the world. One person, Srila Prabhupada, going alone, with no support, as Narasimha Maharaj we heard about, was a sympathizer, not a follower, a supporter anyway. Other than that, Prabhupada had really no backing, no support anywhere, even from his own godbrothers, speak of people in general. But still, Krishna's will through Srila Prabhupada, and you can see what a miracle is taking place. Here in Malaysia, it's also miraculous, although we've still a long way to go, that there are thousands and thousands of devotees in this country. We all need training. Training never stops. Being guided. Just like Madura is a guide, whether you accept it or not. In fact, even Shimon is just one of the heroes. He's one of the best examples of guides in our movement. There's one who is following Prabhupada's example. He's guiding by example as well as by words. Mukunda Maharaj also here in Malaysia wants to establish training. I don't know exactly what direction or area. The principle we need that guidance. We need it. At every stage, it's not like, oh, I've been in the movement 30 years, I know it all. It never comes to that. And as you say, I don't know, you know better than I, that many of the senior devotees who come to the retired stage of like 60, 65 years, 70 years old age are wondering what to do. So obviously they need some guidance, direction. For them in other places too. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti Narasimha Maharaj ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Narasimha Maharaj ki jai.
His Holiness Jananda Goswami Maharaj ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Mukunda Maharaj ki
Jai.
Prasadam ki
Jai.
We won't go any more than 1 hour over time, right? We're already 1 hour late.
1 hour over time.
So prasadam is available for everyone. We'll stop here. Everyone take some prasadam.
And we still follow the principle of the disciples' fast.
Well, not so many disciples.
I know many things have been dropped over the years. So many.
We'll try.
My take on it also is where there are ashrams and temples, it's like the heart of the spiritual pulse, and they should be respected, highly respected. The temple is not a social club. The temple is not a political center. The temple is a place where you come to get recharged. And those in the temple should be in that spirit. They shouldn't be running around trying to make money. They shouldn't be running around trying to keep it going. They should be studying Prabhupada's books carefully and disseminating that knowledge when they're ready to others. It should be spiritual aid. That's my perspective of the temple. Temples will be few, far between in terms of structure. They will be in every home. But as far as buildings, there's other things will be required. Social events, educational institutions, economic development amongst the world. So many other aspects that need to be developed. The temple should be not that everything has to be done from the temple. The temple is the Brahminical heart of society. It should be very Brahminical. Everything else is equally important, but it should be in its rightful place. Farms, whatever it is, businesses, organization of social structures, etc. needs to be done also. The temple is the Brahminical head system, Brahmin, sannyas Brahmin. So the brahmacharis ideally would be there studying, training, teaching, preaching, going out on Sankirtan. We hardly see anyone in this country doing book distribution. It's embarrassing. There's hardly one or two devotees here and there on the festival dinner. But I have a brahmachari here. Stand up. Where is he? Eknath? He's still with us, or is he left? Oh, sorry. He's very tall, you can't miss him. He is so frustrated he can't find one devotee anywhere to go on Sankirtan. He's so frustrated. He doesn't know what to do. He's eating like an elephant right now to fill his time. He doesn't know what else to do. That's not the business of a brahmachari, is to go out and, distribute books. That's what they should be doing. Studying the books and distributing the books. They're not here to run around doing left, right, and center. They do that also. And that's the opportunity for the grihastas. Come forward. Do that. Especially the Vanaprasthas. Ideal time for puja, for preaching, for whatever. It's the right time. Brahmachari students. Most of them will get married and should get married. But they're students. They should be acting like under the guru. So to speak. Guru. But that principle is there. The temple should be like, when you come here, you become inspired. There's no gossip in the temple, please. There's no mobile phones going on in the temple either. Right? You turn it off. Don't let it go off.
Burn it off or turn it
Huh?
off? Burn it off or turn it off?
Burn it off. Hand it in, we can confiscate it. Make some money for the temple. Anyway, it'd be wonderful if the brahmacharis, it could be such a facility where brahmacharis can actually have that opportunity. I think so. Instead of having to manage temples and, run around doing left, right, and center, trying to keep the show on the road. They've got more important business to do, studying scriptures, becoming, leaders, spiritual leaders in the world today. Hare Krishna. Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Good welcome, all of you. And sorry, Maharaj would like to invite you to breakfast in the conference room. And for all devotees, you're invited for breakfast down. The Vyasa Puja celebrations will start at 10:30 sharp. So please order your prasadam as soon as possible. And please,
You mean tonight or this morning?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Since I can't take sannyas yet, but I'm offering my services, been doing that. I do Bhakti Shastri class in Tamil with the blessings from my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, and also Zoom Gurukul. Both are in Zoom. So anybody interested in letting your child join during these holidays, as well as every Saturday, Sunday. Every Saturday and Sunday, 7 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow is my next class. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. If you give me your telephone number, you'll join the... Yeah, they are coming. They are great. I have children who are waiting for me half an hour. I start at 7 o'clock. So I do both in Tamil and English. The Bhakti Shastri class is 100% Tamil, but those who are interested can read Tamil and English, please join me. Okay? And it's a reading class. That means I did one class with 22 older students. We did complete reading from page to page, front page to back page, Okay, all read and then beat the requirements, slokas, and also assignments. Not as serious as the Mayapur Institute
Later,
per
when
se,
they
but with
put
their blessings
the
and with my
Vyasa
Guru
Puja
Maharaj blessing.
garland.
And there are some here who have done with me. Can put up your hand, those who followed the last batch. But I am more interested, as we see in Gurukul. Children are sitting at home, okay, in the holidays. So I would like to I have students up to university, joins my Gurukul. Okay, I have one student whose sisters, 3 sisters from 4, from 5, and university joining in. I'll teach all the basic requirements in your daily spiritual life, plus Brahma Samhita and Sasaka and so many others, plus moral values. Thank you.
So left with 25 minutes for Prasad.
Hare Krishna. See you later.